What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Here lately, Demar DeRozan has spoken, or should I say DeMar DeRozan talked about the Clippers on a show with Serge Ibaka. Shout out to Serge Ibaka, used to be a former player of the Clippers, now on the Bucks. Hopefully he goes well on his journey going forward. And Serge is definitely doing good with his cooking show. He's interviewed, several players on there from the NBA where you get a chance to know them off the court, along with knowing Serge off the court and seeing how he is and what he likes to do as a hobby. And, the latest one, of course, is with DeMar DeRozan, and they talk about a multitude of things, but the part of it that's picked out the most that you might see in posts or that you might see, on YouTube or something like that, or wherever you look at it at, is that, how he chose the Chicago Bulls over the Clippers. And it's basically a situation where, the Bulls came to the forefront a lot quicker than the Clippers did, even though he spoke to Lawrence Frank and everything with the Clippers, and he spoke highly of the Clippers organization and everything like that. And, he actually spoke to Paul George, and him and Paul George talked, before possibly being en route to the Clippers. And, when you think about that in its entirety, when you look at the Clippers right now, not knowing whether Kawhi or PG would come back or anything, having DeMar DeRozan would be a very, very type situation. Delightful situation for the Clippers, because they would have a star player in him who can carry the load until Kawhi and PG makes a return, and they wouldn't even be in a play-in tournament. They would be like the 4th or 5th seed with DeMar DeRozan. Shout out to him too, because DeMar DeRozan is playing like an MVP this year. He's been playing like an MVP pretty much all season long, and the Bulls have they graphed that number 1 seed, I'd say 1 or 2 times this season. It's been back and forth between them and Miami, and I think the Bucks or somebody that was close to it at one point. But it's kind of been a back and forth battle, with that number 1 seed, and the Bulls are right there. And I definitely think DeMar DeRozan should get, a lot more MVP votes, in regards to how he played this year. He's been playing lights out, and it's really hard to overlook or undermine what he's been doing this year. And, you just think about that in its entirety. He could have been doing that on the Clippers. Imagine DeMar DeRozan playing at this high level MVP caliber type way on the Clippers, especially with Kawhi and PG down right now. The Clippers would be like a 4th seed, and the fact that Kawhi and PG would come back with a guy like that can hold down the fort, their big 3 would definitely easily put them in the NBA Finals, and I think they would easily win the championship. But, in route to what he was saying was, it had a lot to do with, finances, money as well, in regards to his decision for turning down the Clippers for the Bulls. The Bulls offered him more money. I think it was like $81 million, for a several-year contract, and the Clippers couldn't match that. So really, not only the Bulls probably really came to the forefront first, but they came to the forefront with more money in hand. And, when you think about a situation like that, I speak on these type of topics a lot, where it's like, sometimes I don't, players choose money over championships. And I understand that, and I understand why they do it, because you never know how long your career is going to go. You never know how long your career is going to last, things like that. I do get it. But at the same time, me personally, I'm all against it. Now, if DeMar DeRozan was a player that just got into the league like 2 years ago or something like that, then I could see that, because you're trying to get enough money to take care of you and your family so y'all could be secure and everything will be good going forward. And that's the main goal when you get in the NBA. But DeMar DeRozan's been in the NBA for about 10 years now. So to me, there again, players like him shouldn't be looking at the money more than anything. They should be looking at a possible, championship, in their future. And I'm not saying the Bulls can't win a championship. I'm not saying the Bulls are not good enough to win a championship, but when you look at the Bulls, they got a lot of the pieces, but to win a championship, you got to have luck. You got to have the players. You got to have the chemistry. You got to have the coach. All that plays a factor. You see what I'm saying? And when you look at the Bulls overall, can they beat Giannis and the Bucks in a 7-game series? It's debatable, but I doubt it. Can they beat Kevin Durant and them if they're healthy and Kyrie is not on the mandate thing with New York? I don't know if they can do that. I don't know if they can beat Philly in a 7-game series. So it's like when you look at it from its entirety, DeMar DeRozan might feel like he made the right choice because he's on a team where he can, not take a step back either. Because if he played with Kawhi and PG, he would have to take a step back. You'd have to sacrifice the third player or whatever. When it's 3 superstars on a team, there has to be some sacrificial moments where 1 or 2 players have to take a step back from scoring how they usually do and being the superstar player they were before they came there. And I definitely understand that. But in all aspect, I still think that he made the wrong decision overall because, like I said, playing with Kawhi and PG is definitely going to more or less put you in the realm of getting a championship. You add DeMar DeRozan with those 2 players, they're going to the NBA Finals, no doubt. So with that being said, I feel like he just lessened his chances of winning a championship rather than increasing his chances. Now, I like I said, Zach LaVine is one of my favorite players in the NBA, favorite young players. I like Zach LaVine. I really do. I actually think Zach LaVine, honestly, overall, I truly think his talent is better than DeMar DeRozan. I think he really is going to be the best player for the Bulls in the future because of his upside, and it's just how good he is and how naturally gifted he is. But at the same time, like I said, I never like when players that's been in the league a long time choose money over championships. And really, him speaking to Paul George and everything about joining the Clippers and the organization and what they have to offer, him, Kawhi. And at that time, actually, they had Serge Ibaka still. So, I mean, it could have been, a really, really, sweet deal. It could have been a really good thing. And I think that, it definitely would have ensured the Clippers of, at least getting to a finals. Because think about it like this: if DeMar DeRozan actually came to the Clippers, even if Kawhi or PG, if one of them was out, if one of them came back, you still would have 2 star players on that team who can get the Clippers to the NBA Finals. And you never know, maybe Kawhi or somebody or PG would have came back by the finals and they would have put the big 3 together and won the whole thing. So just looking at that in its entirety, it definitely would have been a good thing for the Clippers overall as a team, because I definitely think, no doubt they would have won a championship. I'm not going to say easily, but they definitely would have made it to a finals. And I definitely believe they would have won it. It definitely increases their chances more having a all-star player like DeMar DeRozan. But there again, as I said before, I never like when players like him, who's been in the league a long time, choose money over championships. And I don't know if the Bulls are going to win a championship no time soon, because, you look at the Bulls, they're a good team. But as I said, the Bucks are a good team. I don't know if they could beat them. I don't know if they can beat the Nets in a 7-game series. That's a tough one. If everybody's healthy on there, I don't know if they can beat the 76ers in a 7-game series once the 76ers get more chemistry and if James Harden shows up in big games. And I don't know if they could beat the Miami Heat. Miami Heat's number 1 in the East right now, and they play really good and they got good coaching. And as I said, to win a championship, you need luck, you need great players, you need good chemistry, solid role players, chemistry with everybody in the locker room. Everybody knows their role and they play it, and you need good coaching. Coaching goes a long way in winning championships. So, I don't think the Bulls have that whole package. I think they got some of it, but I don't think they got all of it. And DeMar DeRozan, as good as he's playing, he's really not like a superstar caliber type player. He's an all-star player on the cusp of superstardom or being a superstar player. That's what his career has always been. That's where it's always been at. And, that's pretty much who he is at this point. So, I understand him making that decision. But at the same time, I definitely think he chose money over championships. And I definitely think that, it's a two-way street. The Clippers could have benefited off having an MVP caliber player like him, at least this season. This is probably one of the only seasons. This is the only season I think I've seen him play the way he's playing now. He's had good seasons in Toronto, but not like this one this year he's having on the Bulls. I mean, you can maybe make an argument for that, but I just think this year on the Bulls is the best we've ever seen of DeMar DeRozan up to date. And if this is what he was going to give, if this is what he's going to give the Bulls, the Clippers could have definitely benefited off this, especially as good as the Clippers are playing without their superstars. If they had DeMar DeRozan, like I said, they'd be third or fourth seed in the West easily. Fifth seed at the most, you know what I'm saying? And it would be a really good thing, especially when Kawhi and PG come back, because like I said, I definitely think they will make the finals. But like I said, he made the best decision for him, you know what I'm saying? And, shout out to him for that. Shout out to him for having a good season. But I definitely think, the Clippers will definitely find themselves possibly winning a championship, maybe before the Chicago Bulls. That's just my opinion. And you never know. Maybe the Clippers might play the Bulls in the NBA Finals. You never know. It's very possible, you know what I'm saying, if they could find a way out the East, which, they are a good team. So you got to give them credit. And, the Clippers are a good team too, especially with just Kawhi and PG and the players they do have. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure, at this point, Clipper Nation wouldn't want it any other way. And it is the way it is. And it ended up the way it did. But, it could have been a really special thing, I think, if DeMar DeRozan came, but he didn't. And he was close to coming, but, he chose the Bulls, so he's an enemy. And the Clippers are definitely, rock with what they have, and what they have is definitely good enough to win a championship. So in the end, I guess it's a win-win for everybody. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section as always. And hey, Cali out.